What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do something a little different. Last night I went to a New Year's party at my friend's house, and luckily someone had a deck of cards. You can use any deck of cards, but it's really good to know a few magic tricks just so you can entertain people when you're at parties or something. I really like these poker ESPN cards. They're just smooth and they feel good to play with. Normal deck of cards. In this video, I'm going to show you some magic tricks that Shin Lim has done on AGT, and even Pratt did a cool magic trick that I learned. I do a different variation of their tricks. So like basically, I have like a beginning of a trick and then the end of a trick, and you can kind of customize it and make your own magic trick. So Shin Lim, like he does this thing where he tells people to like tell me when to stop, and then let's say it's the Two of Hearts, he's able to like by sleight of hand slant the card so that when he does pick the deck over, see, I'm not really good at this, like you can see the Two of Hearts. Other people do it where you say pick a card, any card, they pick a card, Ace of Hearts, and then you tell them, well actually you take the card back, you have to put it back in the deck, you don't want them putting it back in the deck, and they when you do it, you slant it a little bit at that angle, same thing, but you have to practice that a lot, so that basically when you flip the deck over, you can kind of take a peek at it, or if people peek at it this way. I don't actually use this trick because I'm terrible at it. It takes a little bit of sleight of hand. Some other ways that I like to do it is, or there's another one that I actually don't really use either. Let's pick a good card. Let's say your card is a Queen of Clubs. So, how do they do it? They say, basically, you shuffle the deck, so it's randomized. You can even have the guests shuffle it themselves, and then you're gonna do this thing where you say the top card, but you basically you're picking up two cards instead of one. So it looks like you're flipping over just one, and you say, okay, this is going to be your card, remember your card. You're going to flip both of them back. You have to practice that a lot. So it takes time to kind of practice that, but you're basically doing two cards instead of one. You're going to tell them, okay, so here's your card. Oh, see, that looks bad. I don't actually use this trick that often. So it says, okay, remember this card, Nine of Clubs. Or you can just show it to them, you know, and not look at it. And then you flip both of them back and you say, okay, I'm going to put your card in the middle of the deck, taking the top card. But really, that's just a burn card. Their card is still at the top of the deck. And that way, you can say, okay, and you can even shuffle it after. So it looks like they think their card's in the middle of the deck, so you can shuffle it after. As long as you keep that top card on the top of the deck, that can start a trick. So you already know that their card is the Nine of Clubs from the beginning. So that's one way to kind of start a magic trick. One of the easiest ways that I really like to do is, some people have a variation of this, but they say, okay, we're going to count cards, tell me when to stop. But you want to make sure you get past the third card before you say, tell me when to stop, because they can stop it at the second card. So you flip three cards, say, okay, tell me when to stop. And they'll say, stop. But I want you to memorize the third card. You always memorize the third card. It's a Two of Hearts. So one more time. Hey, yeah, I'm just gonna show a bunch of cards. You just tell me when to stop. And they'll say, stop. You tell them that card's not important. You know, they don't have to memorize that card. But that's just for you to see that the third card is a Two of Hearts. Or before you start the trick, just before you have the deck, just memorize the third card if you can do that before you even start the trick. So then you say, okay, I'm going to put the deck here. We're going to make 3 piles. And Pratt does it where he actually flips the cards. And then he says, okay, so I know that your card is between the Nine of Clubs and the Ace of Clubs. And then he sandwiches it. So you don't actually have to do that. I just you can put it down. You don't have to flip it up. Sometimes that's just a way to like confuse and distract people. But you already know again that the third card is a 2 of hearts. So even before this trick begins, you already know the card. So then you tell them, okay, remember this card. You don't show it to yourself. You just show everyone else. Say, this is your card. Memorize your card. You sandwich it. But at this point, they can shuffle it. And you already know the card is a two of hearts. So that's another good way of starting a magic trick where you already know their card. I like to use that one a lot. So let's just say, for instance, here, I'll do it real quick from the beginning. So let's just say before the trick, I already memorized it. It's Ace of Clubs. Put three piles. Boom, boom. Here, memorize this card. And you already know what it is. It's Ace of Clubs. Put it in the middle. And then this is Chris Pratt's trick. Where I don't know if it's actually his trick, but he did it on TV. You're going to... Actually, yeah, I guess we'll use Chris Pratt's one. But you can also start Shin Lim's trick from here as well. You're basically going to want to put the Ace of Clubs, and there's different ways of doing it again. I like to do it as the second card. To me, that's just easier. Some random card, and then you put the Ace of Clubs or their card as the second card. Now, as you're doing this is really important for me, is I kind of put the card a little higher up than normal, but not enough so that they can see the other card. You're going to be kind of at a distance from them, and how you hold it is very important. Some people prefer to, like, if you're right-handed, maybe like hold it in a certain way where you can like use your pinky to pop the card up. But to me, this is important because you can see it's sticking out a little bit. You show people, hey, is this your card? Or you're going to tell them, give me 4 chances. Now, again, there's different variations of doing this, but you say, give me 4 chances to guess your card. So you're going to show them some random cards. Say, is this your card, the 5 of diamonds? I noticed it helps to actually read and say the card. Is this your card, the 5 of diamonds? They're going to say no. Like, what kind of trick is this? And, well, hey, I got 4 chances. So this is where, hopefully not paying attention too well, but you're going to be putting, remember our card is actually the Ace of Clubs, right? So you're basically taking from the bottom of the deck, but it's not actually the last card. So you're going to put their card down and say, okay, we're going to burn a card. And then you're going to say, is this your card? 3 of spades. From here, you can just do it regular and say, no, that's not your card. We're going to put it down here. Burn a card. Is this your card? 10 of clubs. No, it's not. So we're going to put it here. And then we're going to put your card. And then we're going to burn a card here. So at this point, you can even do it up to 4 cards, I think. I generally do 3 cards. So if they're paying attention, they're going to realize none of their Ace of Clubs hasn't been shown yet. And then Chris Pratt, what he does is when he says, oh, give me a fist bump, and he basically takes their hand and moves it so that he can put 3 cards. Again, you can do 3 or 4 cards, I think, and just sticks it in their knuckles like that. And when your card is the last card, you can basically slap it, and it'll always stay. So this is a really good party trick because people get amazed when there's actually like an action, and then you say, oh, this is my 4th guess, is that your card? And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's my card. So again, there's different variations of doing that one. Some people like to put it as the 5th card or the 3rd card. Basically, again, it just depends on how you want to do that. Drop a card and burn a card, and then knowing when, because you already know that it's Ace of Clubs, and just knowing where it is. Because I like to do it as the 2nd card just because it's already on the bottom, if that makes sense. Okay. And so going back again with, let's say you already know, using one of those tricks that I told you earlier, you already know that their card, let's pick a different card, Ace of Diamonds. So let's say you do one of those earlier tricks I showed in the video, and you know that their card is Ace of Diamonds already from the beginning. This is how Shin Lim did his trick on AGT is he already knows what their card is, and he says, okay, this is where he has at least 3 other people. And so he goes through the deck and he puts the ace. So the contestant can, or the participant can shuffle the deck however they want, but you basically want to put the ace as the last card. So if it's in here, you want to kind of inconspicuously move it to the back like that. So you want to make 4 piles and try to make them relatively even. Like this is a small hand, so you want to make it relatively even. So you just try to tell them like you're trying to count and trying to make these decks even, because otherwise people are going to be questioning, why are you looking through all the cards? And again, you want to keep the aces or whatever the card is at the very top or the very back of each pile. So each of these are an ace. That's a really important part of the trick. So you have 4 decks, and especially the person who already picked, was it the ace of diamonds? Especially the person who already picked the card and said on this, and they already saw their card as ace of diamonds. You tell them, hey, pick a deck, and if they pick this one, you say, okay, here's your deck from the get-go. This is just an extra layer to the trick, but if they say, oh, this deck or this deck, you say, okay, give it to someone besides yourself, and they'll give it to one person here, and then you say, pick another deck, and they'll pick this deck. Give it to someone besides yourself. Okay, and they give it to another participant over here. And then if they... Remember, you have to know where the ace of diamonds is. So if they say, oh, this deck, and you say, okay, take that deck and I'll take this one. Or if they point to this one, you say, okay, then I'll take this one and you take this one. Either way, they're taking the ace of diamonds. That's an extra layer to the trick. So again, you got to have 4 people, including yourself, or 3 other people. And then in Shin Lim's trick, he says, as a poker, he tells people this is a poker grip. And in poker, you always burn the first card, the top card, to know that you're not cheating. So you tell everyone to do the same. Now this is an important part of the trick because, again, everyone's basically dropping their aces to the very bottom. Okay, and I always tell people, hey, make sure you're following directions. Make sure you memorize the card or the trick's over. Make sure you follow directions, because if they do it wrong, you're going to script the trick. And then from here, you can have them shuffle any way that they want. I actually tell people to just drop the cards onto this card any way they want. So they can do 2, 3, 4, as long as they're shuffling it and they put it back onto here nicely. Shin Lim, if you're watching his video, he says make sure you're putting it back nicely, because if people putting their cards like that, there's a chance that they may ruin the bottom card. So we're going to shuffle each one real quick, however they want to do it. It makes it feel like they're in control, that they're having some influence on it. However they want to drop onto their first card. But again, we already know that the bottom card of all of these are aces, right? This is the part of the trick where he says, okay, so we're going to burn, the top card, and everyone can burn their top card, or you just tell people, burn as many cards as you want, if you want to burn 4, 5, 3, all of them, just a couple, so everyone's going to burn how many cards they want. And you want to make it important that as long as you don't burn all your cards, as long as you still have your deck. Okay, so then what Shin Lim says is there's about 50% of the cards here. Okay, so we're going to actually count our cards. So he does this from the top. This is really important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's really just to put the bottom card on the top. This is still the aces here. So you tell everyone, count your cards. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you make sure you count correctly. Sometimes I like to throw in a little distraction, like it matters how many cards that they have. So then the last person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so what I tell people is, how many cards do you have? Oh, 7. Oh, you have 8. Oh, you have 3. Okay, like that actually doesn't matter. And then you tell the person, especially the person who picked that ace of diamonds from the get-go, is what are the odds or the chances that that ace of, you ask them for their card, what was your card? And they say, oh, it was ace of diamonds. You tell them, what are the chances or the odds that it's in your deck? And I'll do you one better. What are the chances that, this top card, and you can have them flip their own card, is the ace of diamonds? And I'm like, wow. And then you say, well, not only that, but what are the chances that, we have actually a 4 of kind? 4 of a kind, 4 aces. That's a really strong poker hand. And at this point, people are really impressed. This is the end of the trick where you have all 4 of a kind. It doesn't have to be aces. It can be any card. It helps to maybe rewatch and make sure you do each of those steps properly. But that's Shin Lim's magic trick. What I like about it is that it's just a bunch of steps to remember. There's not a whole lot of sleight of hand. And from the beginning of the trick, you can use any variation of other magic trick to already know their card in advance. So I'm going to show you a couple other tricks that are mathematical. I really enjoy these magic tricks. I think I'm going to use a different deck. So you show people, okay, these are random regular deck. They can shuffle it if they want. Oh gosh, that was a bad shuffle. However they want. And then I ask them how many cards are in a deck. And most people will know that there's 52 cards. You want to make sure that you take out the jokers and all that other stuff out of the deck first. There's 52 cards in the deck. And then you ask them, what's half of 52? And they'll say 26. So what I do is I count 26 cards. The important thing to remember is to remember the 7th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 7th card. It's the 2 of diamonds. So mentally, just remember that it's the 7th card. Okay. So I keep going. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. While I'm doing this, I'm telling myself it's a 2 of diamonds. 2 of diamonds. It's 2 of diamonds. So I don't forget. That's 26 cards. Again, the 7th card is the only card that you really need to remember. The 2 of diamonds. So that's 26 cards. And what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to put that on the bottom so we know that these are 3 random cards. They really are 3 random cards from the top of the deck. 1, 2, 3. It could be any 3 cards again. And I say, what's 10 minus 4? And you tell them there's a lot of math involved in this trick. So what's 10 minus 4? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's 10 minus 9? 1. 10 minus 9 is 1. Now what's 9 plus 9 plus 4? So this is where you can joke around, do a math thing, like, come on, you should be able to, do some simple addition. So that's 18, 22. That's 22. And from here, this is where you can kind of make things up. Say, okay, there's a diamonds here, so it's going to, make it look like you're calculating. But you already know it's a 2 of diamonds. So you can say, okay, the 22nd card, because 22, will be of 2 of diamonds. So if especially if it's 22, I would make something up and say like 22, so 2 of diamonds. So make it look like you're analyzing something. But you already know it's a 2 of diamonds. So you're going to count 22 cards or whatever this adds up to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And you're going to say the 22nd card is going to be a 2 of diamonds. And they're going to be like, what? How did you figure that out? Now again, I'll kind of reverse a little bit. Is I want to show that it can be any 3 cards. It doesn't have, just to show a different variation of it. So I'll pick 3 different cards. And if it's a 10 or if it's a picture card, it's 10 minus 10, which is 0. So I generally like to have lower cards so there's some math involved. Because if you get a king, 10, jack, it's not as fun. So I try to have some low cards. 10 minus 7 is 3. 10 minus 6 is 4. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then you do, what's 6 plus 6 plus 7? That's 12. And then that's 19. That's 19 altogether. You want to make sure your math is right. The 19th card is going to be, okay, you do some analyzing, a 2 of diamonds. So the 19th card, 2 of diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 2 of diamonds. And mathematically, it always works out to be the 7th card. Remember from the beginning of the trick? Usually by then, people already have forgotten that you looked at the first half of the deck, the first 26 cards. So, really important, remember the 7th card, do the math correctly, and it should always turn out to be the 7th card. So that's one of my coolest math tricks. Another math trick that I actually just learned recently was you tell them to pick any 3 cards. I usually like to tell them pick cards that, what are the odds of 3 aces being there? This is perfect. Have them pick any 3 cards that have similarities. It could be ace, king, jack, ace, king, queen of the same suit, or any 3 of a kind. So let's say they pick 3 aces, which makes it nice and simple. You're going to put their 3 cards down in any order over here. And then you do 14, 15, 15. Some people like to do 10, 15, 15, and then 9 over here. I like to do 14, 15, 15, and then there'll be 5 leftover cards. Let me show you. Or another thing is people don't normally count very well. So you say, I'm going to put 15 cards here, but really you're putting 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you can say I'm putting 15, but actually just put 14. Or you can actually just tell them you're doing 14. To me, it seems better when they're all equal, that there's 15, 15, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you're going to have 5 leftover cards over here. So I generally like to say 15, 15, 15 rather than 14, 15, 15, if that makes, it makes it more symmetrical. And this is the part of the trick where you say, okay, put one of your cards on top of the deck here. Then you're going to cut the middle deck and put it on top like that. Put your other card on top of the second deck. We're going to cut this deck and put it on top. If you need to rewatch this video, there's a lot of steps to it. Then you say, okay, put that last card on top of here and cover it with these remaining cards. It helps to watch tutorials, helps to practice it before you actually do it on someone to make sure you're doing it right. And then I normally go from right to left when I'm doing it. I put it on top like this. And then from here, let's see, I'm going to make sure I'm doing it right. We go up, down. So you tell them, tell me to stop if you see your card. So you go like this, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's important to always start with the up first. So if we do this right, when we go through the whole deck, they're not going to see their ace. There was one ace that they will see, but that's not one of their aces. Okay, and then so if we do it right, they're not going to see their card. Like, okay, that's, that's pretty good odds. So you're going to do it again. Up, down, 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 up, down. Still, none of those three aces. That's all rubbish. Okay, we do it again. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you ask them, hey, you still didn't see your card yet? Okay, well, we'll do it again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now, if we did this correctly, now that's kind of unusual that this is not one of their aces. But when there's three cards left, this will be the aces that they picked from the beginning. And then it just mathematically works out. Again, when you do the trick and they have their three aces here, their three cards, just to iterate how to do it, is you're going to make three piles. You can do 10, 15, 15, and 9. I like to do 14, 15, 15, if that makes sense. 14, 15, 15, and 5. But some people do 10, 15, 15, and 9. And after they do the 9, you basically take 4 and you put it underneath. That's if you're going to do it the other way. I prefer not to do it that way. It saves you an extra step. Okay, so that's another second mathematical card that I know. I'll go into some easy tricks that I know from. This is a really easy one. Is you have them pick a card. You can use as many cards as you want. I like to have it like as an even number. This is really good, good magic trick for kids, and they'll pick their card. Okay, it's a 4 of clubs. You can actually tell tell everyone else in the audience, and you can even tell the magician or yourself. Tell them what the card is. It's 4 of clubs. Okay, you tell them to close their eyes or to not look, but not you can turn to the side and basically put the 4 of clubs wherever you want. I like to put it like on the third card. It doesn't really matter where you put it. So they don't know where it is in the deck. And you tell them, okay, you don't know which one of your cards where your card is anymore. But when you're putting these cards down, you want to remember where you put their card. So this is the 4 of clubs. And you can make a little pattern or however you want. So remember, again, this is the third. You don't want to lose where their card is. And you can do it however design you want. You just want to remember this is the 4 of clubs. So you tell the audience member, pick two. You can tell them pick 2 columns like this way, or 2 rows this way. It doesn't matter. So I say pick 2 columns, and let's say they pick these 2. Okay, so then you take these away. But if they were to say, pick 2 columns, and they pick one of these 2, then you take away these cards. That's part of the trick. But let's say they pick these two columns, you take this away. You tell them pick 1 column. And let's say they pick this middle one. Okay, we take that away. You're basically doing the opposite, so you're keeping their card remaining. Now, out of these 2, pick 1. And let's say they pick this one, this column. So you take this one away, if that makes sense. So you have 3 cards here. Pick 2 cards. And if they pick these 2 or these 2, then you just basically take away, as long as you keep this one here. Say pick these 2, then you can see, and that'll be their remaining card. So pick 2 cards, and they say these 2. Take this one away. Now, out of these 2 cards, pick 1 card. If they pick this one, you show them that, hey, that's your card. If they pick this one, you say, okay, pick up the last card. There's their card. So that's a really simple trick. I'll show you one where this one's a little complicated to do it right. It takes a little bit of preparation. You want to make sure you have the clubs, the diamonds, and the hearts. You don't need the spades. You're going to find the picture cards of the hearts, the clubs, and the diamonds. Okay? It really doesn't matter how you order it. I like to do it, make it look nice. King, queen, jack, king, queen, jack. And then from here you basically put them in 3 piles, flip them over, and then from here you put any of these stacks into 3 like this, and you do the same with this. You can have them like shuffled if you want to. It doesn't really matter as long as you put them on like that. Shuffle it, whatever. Put it on top of the. So you have 3 piles. Then it really doesn't matter. You can even ask them, okay, now put it any order you want. These piles any order you want. Then they can cut it as many times as they want. I generally just tell people cut it 3 times. 1, 2, where they put the bottom on the top. And it doesn't matter how they cut it. 3. So that's 3 times. Then from here, you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna just to shuffle it up more. I'm gonna make 2 piles. And you tell them, do you want me to put this one on top or this one on top, or however you want to do it? Doesn't really matter. They choose this one. From here, you're gonna say, this is really important, so pay attention to this part. Is you're gonna spell out club. CLUB. So that's really the 4th card. We're gonna spell out hearts. Actually, heart, not hearts. Heart. HEART. Diamond, not diamonds. Diamond, not the plural. Diamond. Make sure you know how to spell diamond. DIAMOND. Now this is important. Is you're gonna go back the way that you just came. So club, CLUB. Heart, HEART. And then diamond, DIAMOND. And then the last 3 cards, I believe you just put it on like that. So pay attention to those steps, because I've done this one wrong. Oh, I did this one wrong. Oh, the clubs came out together. See, this is where I did it wrong. I think it was my last 3 cards. You're gonna do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Then you have all the hearts come together, all the clubs together, and the diamonds all back together. This one is a little tricky because if you do one part wrong, it's gonna mess it up. If you need to rewatch how I did it, that might help. Another simple one. This can kind of amaze and impress like simple-minded people or people who don't, maybe for kids. All you have to do is know the bottom card. So 2 of clubs, 2 of hearts. Remember the 2 of hearts. Then you put it in any. I like to make it into a little toilet bowl sometimes, but this is the bottom card. So you want to make sure that they don't pick the bottom card. Make it kind of randomized. And you ask your participant, find me the 2 of hearts. Use your psychic powers. Find me the 2 of hearts. And they're gonna be a little picky and be like, oh, and so they point to it. Make sure they don't look at it. Like, oh wow, okay. And you look at yourself, and this is a 8 of spades. You're gonna tell them, wow, you found the 2 of hearts. You're good. Find me the 8 of spades. And they're gonna pick another card, or you can find another guess, and they're saying, wow, you found the 8 of spades. You point to someone else and say, can you help me find the 7 of diamonds? And they're gonna pick a different card. You say, wow, can you repeat those cards that I said? The 2 of hearts, 8 of spades, 7 of diamonds, and I'll help you, and I'll find, you make it look like you're just picking a random card. The ace of diamonds. Yeah, I feel like you know, and you don't want to make it obvious that you're picking the bottom card. Make it look like you're looking through it and like, this one. Okay, so can you repeat back those cards? Yeah, the two of hearts, right? And you say, okay. What else did we say? Oh yeah, the eight of spades. Yeah, I remember the eight of spades. We have the eight. You picked the eight of spades. And then what was the other card? Seven of diamonds. And at this point, you really want to help people remember the cards that you said earlier. And lastly, the ace of diamonds. We picked all four of them. But really, you're just telling them to pick the card, and you already know what the bottom card is. So that's another easy, simple trick. Let's see. Okay, another trick that I have. This might be the last one. Before you even do the trick, is memorize the fourth card. So it's a three of spades. Fourth card is a three of spades. However you want to do that. And then when you shuffle it, you say, okay, this is just a regular deck. I'm going to shuffle it. But you do a bad shuffle where you keep it at the top. Oh, I did that wrong. See, I did that wrong. Let's do it again. Fourth card, two of diamonds. You want to do a bad shuffle where you keep at least four on the top. So it's still a two of diamonds. And then you say, cut the deck any way you want. They'll cut it. They have two decks. And then you say, okay, the fourth card in this deck is going to help me to figure out the fourth card in this deck. And you look at this fourth card, it's the six of hearts. You don't show it to them. And then you say, okay, the fourth card is going to be, what was it, a two of diamonds? It's two of diamonds. And I'm like, what? How'd you do that? And you say, oh, I'll show it to you again. But at this point, you already know that the fourth card is a six of hearts in this one. So you basically shuffle it again. Again, kind of a bad shuffle if they're not paying attention. Have them cut. And then you say, okay, so the fourth card in this deck will help me to figure out the fourth card in that